Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. Okay, have you considered cutting back on alcohol or quitting drinking altogether? Our next guest believes it's the best decision that you can make. Here to explain more, we welcome the author of Living Sober, Living Free, a guided journal for women who want to stop drinking, and the founder of Recovery is the New Black, Michelle Smith. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
This is a really great time to talk about this. The holidays can add a lot of pressure to people who might be going on different journeys with alcohol. Can you share a little bit about your own personal experience?
Yeah, you know, I had the perfect example of what not to be growing up. And so I really stayed away from alcohol up until my 30s, and I hit the mommy wine juice culture.
Yeah.
And I used it for a tool to cope when life got really hard.
Yeah.
And we have this underwritten rule in motherhood that it's really hard and drinking helps.
Right.
And I fell into that slippery slope of problem drinking, and the rest is history.
Okay. But by the way, congratulations, because you just reached 8 years alcohol-free. That's a huge milestone.
Thank you.
Could you have imagined 8 years ago that you'd be able to say that today?
No, never. I didn't think I could make it 8 hours, 8 days.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big deal.
What was it like for you the moment that you decided, hey, I've got to stop?
You know, I had a lot of those. You know, I would go back and kind of like reevaluate my relationship with alcohol and notice, again, I was using it more as a primary tool to cope, and just thought, you know, but so-and-so is doing it, and it's really normal, and it's almost glamorized. And how can I be the only one that has this interesting relationship with alcohol that's becoming problematic? And so I would just look externally at other people that had it worse off than me.
Sure.
And I used that to really reevaluate my personal relationship with alcohol.
Okay.
And I did hit that moment of saying, you know what, I don't have to have a DUI. I don't have to lose my job or hit a rock bottom in order to reassess my relationship with alcohol.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that, that they kind of justify drinking and say, well, I've done X, Y, and Z. I've never gotten into those types of trouble with it, so I might not really have a problem.
Yes, absolutely. And that's when I encourage anyone to lean in and get curious. And instead of saying, am I an alcoholic? Because alcohol-free living is not only for alcoholics.
Yeah.
People are getting sober just for the health of it. So you can ask yourself, is this adding value to your life? How do you feel in the morning? How are you showing up for your kids? Is this costing you more than it's providing to you?
Yeah.
And just asking simple questions. I don't like how I felt in the morning when I'd wake up. Hangovers don't feel good.
It's the worst feeling too as a parent, right? When you feel like I made a bad decision yesterday, I'm paying for it today. And my kids are too, because I can't fully show up for them because I don't feel 100%.
Absolutely. And oftentimes we don't think our kids notice.
Yeah.
And they do notice, and we can hide bottles and we can't hide behavior.
That's a great point. They do pick up so much, even at such young ages, right? We don't really realize that we're being watched all the time. Do you have any tips or maybe challenges for folks this holiday season? That it's a very boozy time of year, right? Parties, there's just a lot of alcohol surrounding us. Are there ways to help us kind of navigate if we're thinking maybe we do want to cut back a little bit?
Yeah, the thing I really love about alcohol-free living is that this movement, alcohol-free beverages are like lining the shelves. Gas stations, Target, Fred Meyer, they're everywhere. Amazon has them. And so if you're wanting to cut back or not drink at all this holiday season, I think it's really important to have an accountability buddy. Let somebody know that you're not going to, and bring your own beverage. We cannot rely on the host or the event of having something available for us that we can consume. And really just remembering your intent. What is the reasoning for why you're drinking?
Yeah.
Because again, if it's a tool and we're using it to cope, let's ask ourselves, what is the desire? What is the unmet need that this drink is providing? And sometimes it's the grief and loss of grandma not being around the kitchen table this holiday season.
Yeah.
It could be the ex having the kiddos this Christmas. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of obligation that goes into this season.
And it just kind of masks over those things, and you're not really dealing with the root problem. And then what, right? Then you kind of begin that spiral.
Absolutely. That's the emotional drinking. Now we're drinking out of punishment for choosing to drink in the first place. So the thing that we told ourselves we weren't going to do, we're now punishing ourselves by doing it more.
Yeah. What if you're in a situation where you feel uncomfortable because you're surrounded by people who are still drinking, and maybe they're not being so respectful of your own choices if you've decided to either take a break or eliminate it completely?
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, adult bullying is real, and peer pressure is really real because we've normalized this. And, you know, I think society has this idea that you're either a normie or you're an alcoholic, and we'll stay away from alcoholics because they can't drink or they die.
Yeah.
And so this alcohol use disorder spectrum, it's opening people's eyes to say just for the health of it. It's not just because people are pregnant or alcoholics or religious components that they're not drinking. And so I think it's really important for people to be mindful and respectful. People have a slew of reasons for why they're choosing not to pick up a drug, and just being present. So if you don't feel like you can go this holiday season to an event, don't go. Go next time. Set a boundary. Bring an accountability buddy. You know, hide and disguise your cocktail to make it look like you're blending in with everybody else.
Yeah, whatever it takes, whatever works for you. Everybody's different. Well, and we should mention, I mean, there's also some really wonderful health benefits to either drinking less or drinking not at all.
Absolutely. I did a TEDx talk on this of just reducing the risk of cancer that it's associated with, and the weight loss, the bloat that you don't have, the clear skin, the money that you save, you don't have hangovers, the example that you're setting for your children. The list goes on. And I think it's really important for us to look at what we're gaining, not what we're losing, because we're really only losing the hangover, regret, and bloat. You know, was it really that much fun if you don't remember having it?
Right. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Are you encouraged? Because I feel like even people my age, I have more friends who are sober curious or just giving up alcohol because it feels good and not necessarily because they felt like it was problematic. It feels like that conversation is opening up a lot more lately.
Absolutely. It is one that is just, again, just for the health of it. We're seeing the benefits, and there's such an unmet need from a mental health standpoint of the overwhelm and the depletion in moms and being stretched so thin that this can basically teleport us without teleporting us. You know, it can just really just quiet the noise in our head and ease the overwhelm, even if it's just for a moment. But the hard part is that creates dependence. If we keep going back to something that's highly addictive, anyone, no matter who you are, it is not immune. It doesn't matter who your dad is, how much money you make, or what college you attended. If you go back to an addictive substance, you can become addicted.
Yeah, it really can happen to anybody. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. This was really a great chat. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Michelle's book again is Living Sober, Living Free, a guided journal for women who want to stop drinking. We'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.